we did a
For
little
sure.
homework. We hadn't heard of Sons of Montana until Derek brought him up, and yeah, we've listened to both of your EPs that are on Spotify, and fucking awesome, man. I know you guys say that you're post-hardcore, metalcore genres. I know genres is a hard thing, but I hear more of like a noise rock kind of thing. Like I got like hints of like Ken Mode and Daughters and that
Yeah,
kind of shit, but right along the lines of what I listen to. So super stoked that you're part of this Brayburn family.
yeah.
Um, and you guys are in Connecticut. So, I'm just assuming you're old dudes like we are. I'm 40, I'm
Yeah.
48. There's one Connecticut band that I am aware of. You guys might know, like a mid '90s or early '90s hardcore band called Mind War. Did you ever hear of them?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
AJ, their singer, we're still in communication with Jay, and
Oh, you are?
great friends. And he just came out to one of our last shows and hung. And yeah, that band is amazing.
Yep.
Um,
Wow.
really, really cool. Huge inspiration for us. They were like just beast live. Um, yeah, really cool. So thanks for the kind words. Yeah, the whole genre. It's like sometimes you just have to plug in words
Oh, we know.
for
Totally.
meaning and stuff. So
Yeah.
so we're just sort of are what we are. But the associations you drew were really nice, really cool.
Awesome.
Um,
Awesome. That's funny you said AJ because that's specifically the dude that I knew. And now I could
oh
brag
yeah,
about my 6 degrees of separation between me and Matt Pike of High on Fire because AJ came out here and he was in a band called Owlman. Um, and then
Yep.
he had to step back and I guess he was moving back to Connecticut or something. And this was like in the mid, like 2010, 2008, around then. And I took over for him. So I basically had to learn all their songs and I met AJ, and he's a super cool guy. I took the mic from him. He passed the baton to me, and that was a band that I was in called Ace Pilot. But yeah, Mind War. They had the High on Fire drummer. It's like the
Yeah.
only other
Heavy.
band he had been in. So it's pretty cool to have that connection. And yeah, if you talk to AJ, tell him Matt from Ace Pilot said what's up. He'll know exactly who you're talking about. That's fucking amazing. I wondered how he was doing.
He's doing well. I talk to him. I talk to him pretty regularly. Several times. Yeah, I wouldn't say every day, but several times a week I talk to him. And
Sweet.
there might be this is probably the first time this is being mentioned outside of a few people, but there might be some new Mind War coming shortly.
That's amazing.
Oh shit.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, there's another local dude here that was affixed in our scene named Joe Pro that I guess was the drummer for them for like maybe 1 or 2 months.
He was
And
on the
he went
7
on
inch.
their yeah. He went on their German European tour apparently. But yeah, he's no longer with us. But yeah, he was the connection between me and AJ. So yeah, tell AJ Matt said hi.
look how small the world is, right?
Very.
Sweet.
Um,
So yeah, your first EP came out like 20 years ago. So you guys have been a thing for a long time.
yeah. I mean, so that's awesome. You did your homework.
I
Yeah.
did.
So life kind of got in the way. We had played in bands together when we were younger. Sort of did some things together, did some things apart. Came together, did the Sons of Montana, wrote those first songs pretty quickly, and went in and recorded with Kurt. And then we played just a few shows,
I think like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 shows, and then sort of just stopped because of life being just life. And then a couple times between then and 2020 we would get together a weekend here, weekend there, try to feel things out. Jay and Michael, our drummer, were in a bunch of bands together, so Ian and I were sort of watching them do their other projects, and just timing and those stars, if you will, never aligned. until
Yeah.
2020, where Jay just kept hitting us up. He's like, "We got this great practice space. You got to come out. Let's just come out. No pressure. Let's just get in the room together and see what happens." And we came in. 2020 was terrible for a lot of reasons, a lot of people, and it was really dark. But for us to sort of, get back in a room and be creative again with no real direction outside of like, let's just enjoy each other's company and see what happens. And we just fell right back into it. It was really, really fun. It was like a good way for us to get out on Sundays.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We were recording and playing again, and here we are chatting you guys up.
Sweet. Perfect. Yeah, timing's everything. We totally can relate. Matt especially. He took like a 10-year hiatus, and I had to pull him back. The music
Yeah, I
scene.
mean, it's kind of similar to our story. I mean, in a sense, except for it's not the same band at all. But Matt and I were in a band together in 2001, and then that fizzled out.
Okay.
And then we kind of split. Matt went his way, I went my way. We both were in a bunch of bands, and as he mentioned, I took an 8-year break, starting a
playing at all?
business and stuff. Oh yeah, no, I was completely. I sold like, you know how it go, or maybe you don't, but like you just like, I'm not playing anymore. I'm just gonna sell all my stuff. I sold like 3/4 of my gear, and then in 2018, yeah, Matt's like, I have this idea for this band, and you need to play bass, and I was like, well, shit, I guess I better start buying gear again, and yeah, here we are. But yeah, I think it was
Now he's in-
2018, yeah, and now I'm in
he's
5 bands.
5 bands.
Yeah,
Okay. Can we dig into you being away for 8 years? Because
yeah.
was sort of similar. Tell me how hard. Like, was it easy for you? Was it hard for you? Did you
It was
go-
terrible.
Yeah.
I referred to myself during that period of time as a recovering musician, and because it was like real seriously, like I would go to shows and I would just, you've seen the memes, like, being a musician and being at a show, not playing, you just kind of stand there with your arms crossed and stuff. And I took a lot of time where I just didn't even go to shows, though. It was awful. Yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't. I would get too bummed out.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it while I was there, and then I would leave and just be completely depressed.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it was terrible. And even like Matt Lamb was in a band called Lurchers, and I think it was 2017 that you pulled me out to some shows, and it was the same kind of thing. But I was actually really stoked for you because I thought that band was just amazing. But then you started talking about like, possibilities of me stepping in when you needed a bass player there, here and there, or whatever. And I was just like, maybe I could do this again. I don't know, but it was hard for sure to get back into it. Definitely.
Yeah, the timing is everything, and now it's kind of the same as you guys. It's like perfect now, and it's like turned into so many other like facets of our lives. Like our wives started hanging out all the time, and now they're like inseparable best friends. So we're basically just always together. The 2 couples, we've got children that have known each other since they were babies, and it's a different. Yeah, we're just wiser old men and well-oiled machines.
Except for my joints, but yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't call myself wiser. I mean, the fact that I'm in 5 bands probably indicates I'm not. Also, all the gear you have to buy to be in 5 bands, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. I really do.
5 bands is like, you might have a problem.
Yeah.
Like 2, we're like, oh, right. 3, you're crazy. 5, you have a problem.
Lucky for me, there is definitely seasonality in some of them, but and one of the other bands obviously is the one that Matt and I are in together, and that was you were talking about 2020 being a dark time, and like, we had been in Chew Thru for a couple of years by that point, and we'd only played 1 show. We started in 2018, and we didn't play our first show until the end of 2019 with Chew Thru. We were just polishing it, and there maybe were some other things that were underlying that we didn't realize that were holding us back. But we had our second show scheduled for, I think it was March 14th of 2020. And of course that didn't happen. And so we went into this dark place where all of us were just, we practiced at our drummer's house, and, understandably he didn't want us at his house during that time. And so, I started messing around with some riffs, and Matt and I kind of came up with this idea for a band and actually found a drummer that would be down to meet with us in person. And that's how we kind of started this other project we were doing. or still, I guess we're still doing it now. But it was totally spawned out of that dark time. Like everything about it is dark.
Yeah,
Completely
that's
opposite of Chew Thru.
robes. It's
Yeah,
literally the yin and yang of Chew Thru. It just
yeah,
dark. We wanted it to be like doom, depressing, everything bad. Just vent the bad,
yeah,
and it helped.
yeah. It did, but it's been cool being in a couple of bands together. It helps. It makes it easier to do for sure. You know.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Talking about Chew Thru,
Yeah.
uh, it says you recorded in a basement. We need some info in the
Yeah.
recording setup here.
Well, so you're probably talking about our first EP. Well, I guess we technically recorded both the first two EPs at our former drummer's house in his basement. The first one was one of those, again, like you're talking about being procrastinators. Again, we were in a band for a year or more before we even played our first show. We didn't have any kind of, way to let people know what we sounded like, so that's part of the reason we didn't play shows either. And I've been recording for a long time. Like that's what I went to school for. Didn't ever finish it, but that's what I went to school for. And we decided to just record in our drummer's basement, just to, like basically like practice, but we mic'd everything up and recorded it. And I look back at it now. We were very proud of the kind of one take, all live kind of performance of it. But if I could do it again now, I would have done it a little bit differently, just because it's not very listenable, I don't think. But so I guess it has some endearing qualities, possibly.
Yeah, no, I like the energy of it. Yeah, that's
Right
why I
on.
was like recorded this in the basement. Like,
Yeah,
it just feels.
yeah. The only thing on that first one, the only thing we did like overdub wise was just backup vocals. Like even the vocals were live from the first take, which was really crazy that we were able
Yeah.
to do. Because we've tried that again like several times, and we've never been able to do it right. Like it was really kind of magical. We didn't actually get too much bleed in any one way or the other to make that work. Because every time we do that type of thing now, we tend to Chew Thru tends to record all together, but we're usually just like focusing on like we're gonna get the drum takes right now or whatever. But Matt always does vocals with us when we're recording, and we can't use them because there's just too much other stuff going on, like coming through his mic. And so it was really just a chance happening that we were able to do that on
Sweet.
that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
The second one was a little bit different. We did a little bit. It was still recorded in that basement though.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
did my vocals in your garage.
yeah, you did. And the guitar tracks were actually when we retracked the guitars, we had scratch, but when we retracked it, we did that in the garage as well.
I just can't. I always think about like what your neighbors must have thought.
Yeah,
Your
dude,
acapella hardcore.
just screaming
5
coming from my
songs of
garage.
Straight screaming acapella.
like they're having some troubles down the street.
Yeah. But even this latest one, I don't know if Derek has shared with you the kind of the early takes, or not early takes, but just a pre-release of our stuff's coming out on Brayburn soon. If not, we can share it with you. But it was also, I mean, we did basically the same process, but we did it a little bit more staggered. So we did the drums in a different room, and we you know just got finished recording all the additional guitar tracks and all that stuff. And but yeah, we tend to do everything ourselves when it comes to that. And this time around, the only difference is this time around we actually had Felipe from Green Door master it, because before I just did all of it, but this time it was like
Okay.
Derek's like, why don't you see about getting somebody to help you to like think about it from a different place, and he knocked it way the fuck out of the park. It's great, super good. So
What duration? Like, what is your, like, when recording the last time? What was the timeline? Like, what are we talking? Is that a weekend? Is that over multiple nights?
So for this EP that we just finished up, Curb Cuts is the name of it. I'm trying to think, Matt. We started what, and like we drug this one out a bit. We did,
Yeah.
because I tend to, not being like a professional engineer by any means, I tend to take a lot of time to like do 15 mixes a day or whatever and listen to them on different things, and then I share them with the band, and then we listen to them for a week and we make notes, and then I go back and make tweaks and stuff. But I'm trying to think. I think we started this, if I can remember, we started it in like, God, I don't know, September or October of 24, I think.
Yeah, or November, something.
Yeah, something like at the end of 24. And then we had our our plan that was just like, yeah, we'll get it wrapped up, and then maybe we'll do, we'll shop it around, get some reviews or whatever. And of course, in the meantime, Derek re-entered, I guess, the scene here, and obviously, I was talking to him. Part of the, I'm in Suicide Cages as well, and so I brought it up to him because we actually wanted to see it. We knew that Derek is quite the voice talent, and we wanted him to do one of our skits. We have a couple of skits like throwback to like old school hip hop, and that's a hardcore. And we asked him to do that. So I was like, "Here's a song," and he was like, "This is really good." I was like, "Right on, okay, cool." And so that kind of introduced him to Chew Thru, and we started talking about putting it out through him, and that really lit the fire, I think. So we're really stoked on this. We've never actually really, I mean, we've done like the real basic like $100 for 100 CDs thing. But I personally have been in bands since like when I figured it out the other day. 1993 is when I first started playing, and I've never released anything on vinyl. So I'm super stoked to
Yeah,
have
it's
this.
first for me. This whole Brayburn thing is definitely, like you said, lit a fire under our ass,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
we just want to do it right. So much props to Derek and what he's doing and enabling us to do what we want and understanding what we do, bringing other bands like you guys. Like, I hope you guys can come to Colorado, or we can go to the East. That would be rad to play with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay.
I don't know if you guys had any. I had a couple quick questions just to get to know the band. Chew Thru, who in the band? This is where you get to throw someone under the bus. Who's most likely to be late to practice?
Probably me. I would say me. Like, we practice at 8 p.m. In Denver. I get off work typically around like 5:30, and then my wife cooks dinner, an elaborate chef style dinner every night, and then I have to do the dishes before I leave, and I'm literally like nonstop eat, finish work, eat, go to practice, and I'm always late. And I'm trying to be on time, but everything is so fucking far from my house. I live in South Aurora. You guys might know of Aurora from Trump talking about all the animal dog cat eaters and Venezuela gangsters that don't exist. But yeah, that's where I live, and it's like at least a half hour to get to practice. Like, Reinhardt's late sometimes, but not as much as me.
Yeah,
But
we
I'm
live in
just
the suburbs. Matt and I both live in the suburbs, but I live in the south and he lives in kind of the east, and so it is far to get to anywhere really around here. Plus, I mean, you've got to pay those Venezuelan gang taxes before you leave the city, so
That's
that's
true. There's like tolls on some streets.
no, there aren't. Let's anyway. That's a good question though. Yeah, I think that's about right though. I was going to say Matt too before he threw himself under the bus.
I hate being late too. It's like my pet fucking peeve.
I
I was
mean, if this were an interview with Suicide Cages, they would say me for sure. But again, same thing. I am always like, it takes me an hour to get to that jam space. It's just Denver
I don't
traffic is
mind when
awful.
other people are late, but when I'm late, it's just like fuck. At least I'm the singer. I used to be that singer that, like, with shows I would help everyone with their gear, load in, and now I'm like I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna have some me time. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Singer guilt is real. Singer
It
guilt
is.
you
It
know?
is.
Sometimes I have it so much I'll help other bands.
So you guys, Sons of Montana are just a 4-piece. Is that correct?
We are now a 5-piece.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Nice.
We've been a
Cool.
4-piece for the majority of our run.
Mhm.
about 2 years ago, I started to get really bad arthritis in my wrists, and my confidence level tanked. So I proposed having a second guitar player to make me sound good.
Damn.
And
That's
we had
awesome.
we had this guy Ray with us for about a year. He's not in the band any longer. Life just got busy for him. So now we have this guy Vinny on second guitar, who was in. Me and him did our first band together back in like '92 or so. So it was easy to bring him back in the mix because him and I have such a long history. He knows everybody else in the band also.
Yeah.
But me and him go way, way back.
That's
So
awesome.
it's been great having some fresh blood in there.
That's
I
really
can
cool.
imagine having another guitar player helps you to like focus and play in a different way that probably is actually super beneficial. Like focus on strengths, certain. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I have any strengths, but
I doubt that.
Not-
I was. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
You probably have
Oh, no,
things
no.
that
I
are
was gonna
not
say-
weaknesses, though.
There's always 8 Matts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who.
Yeah, we should have
You
established.
could just call me Lamb.
Yeah, we usually call him Lamb, but you and I guess we're still going to be just Matt. I don't know.
I was talking about it last night. My mom was going to name me Charlie. Like, what the fuck? And now I go to my whole life. There's 3 Matts in all my classes. My work team, there's 3 fucking Matts. And in this meeting, there's 3 fucking Matts.
Yeah.
It's unoriginality at its best. That's why I named my daughter Ella, so she could be one of 5 Ellas at her daycare.
Hell yeah. I was going to say though that like Lamb mentioned that it's he'd done some research. I tried to do some research, and the reason I was asking about your lineup is because I couldn't find any information anywhere of who's in the fucking band.
Yeah.
So can you give us a rundown of who's in Sons of Montana besides you two? And Vinny?
well, Matt and myself, vocals and guitar. Ian is our bass player. He's been with us. He wasn't on the first EP, but he joined shortly after. And then we have Mike on drums, who's been with us since the beginning as well. So it's pretty much been the same, other than Brendan from Demons playing bass on our recording, the first one. It's been the same 4 guys for the entire run until we added the second guitar player a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like how you guys haven't really changed from your style from your first EP. You're still the same, and there's a lot of authenticity to that. I was going to ask you, Matt. You're a singer like me, or try to be. Do you have any like vocal preparation techniques before shows that you do, or do you like gargle some sand or glass?
That's a good question. So, always on the way there, I have like depending on how I feel, I have a 12-minute or 18-minute like warm up that I run through, and it's just I'll just listen to it and go through it. It's pretty rudimentary, but just to maybe a little bit more for confidence than anything else. I'll do that on the way there, and then typically sometime before we play, Michael, the drummer, and myself will go and just move around a little bit, try to loosen up so we don't get up there like the Tin Man. Super stiff. We'll just move around a little bit, and that's like fun time for him and I, like to goof around a little bit and just it's like a ritual now. It's just habit. Do it every So that's it. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I've got a routine that I listen to as I'm driving to the venue because, everything's like at least a half hour away. So I've got that time just usually by myself, just focusing on that. And just depending on how my voice feels, because, it goes in and out. And as the older I get, I like to keep it calloused and have like consistency with practices. That really helps. But and then like 20 minutes before the set, I'll leave like before the band before us is done and just sit in my car and kind of like meditate, for lack of a better term. And just sit there with my eyes closed and breathe, just away from everybody. Just 20 minutes alone. I think there's a Pantera song called "Oh, That's 5 Minutes Alone."
Yeah. You were asking us a little bit about our EPs.
Yeah.
I believe your Sons of Montana is about to release something new on Brayburn Records, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Coming up the second. It's called Full Goth. We
Uh-huh.
recorded it with Will Benoit from the band Psalm, and Will has like produced and engineered a ton of great stuff. Eclectic mix of music. So we recorded it with him a while back. Sort of been sitting on it for a little bit, just sort of waiting for the perfect venue. And when we started communicating with Derek and the label, just seemed like a perfect fit. We were super excited because the roster is just like we are inspired by every band. We're like super pumped by every band on the label, and that got us like extra jazzed. Will in Connecticut. It's no longer, he's moving the studio now, but he had the only solar powered recording studio in Connecticut, which is kind of funny. But it was like we loved it. We did the last 2 recordings there. We loved it because it was just so chill. It was like a barn out in the middle of this, middle of his property, and just super low key. We could be as creative as we wanted. There wasn't a lot of time pressure that you feel sometimes going into the studio where, minutes are dollars. And then he had just this incredible amount of gear to choose from. And he was full of ideas, super, super patient. So it was excellent. It was really, really good time.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, we've never had the chance to go to like another legit studio and like have somebody else kind of be like another member, throw in their ideas and that whole situation. We just always have done it ourselves, which we like and we were proud of, but I would want to do that someday, eventually. Yeah. That sounds like a good place and a good dude.
Yeah, he's stellar. And to your point, Lamb, having an extra set of eyes and ears, like Will would say to us, he would be like, "Hey, let's comp this next part. Like, just go through it, just loosen." Or he would have all these ideas of like, "No, I don't think you should do the background vocals this way. Try them this way." He would never like tell us. He would suggest to us, changes, and then he would give us the opportunity, like, "Here, listen back. What do you think?" And then he would soft sell us on like, "This is why I like this better. What do you guys think now?" And yeah, I mean, probably 99% of the things we would go with. It takes the ego out of it.
Yeah.
It's not like the drummer, not that Michael would say this, but the drummer being like, "Turn the bass all the way down." He's like,
I have heard Mike say
that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. That's amazing.
How many tracks is it?
Oh boy.
I meant the EP. I'm sorry, I didn't mean the studio.
We went in,
340.
We went in and recorded 4.
Nice.
3 songs in an instrumental. We had some like riffs and ideas after that, but then we decided just to stick with what we felt, resonated the best. That was like we were most confident with. Yeah.
Nice. Really looking forward to it.
Some of the stuff that we didn't record on that EP is stuff that will come out on the full length when we come around to recording it. We do a lot of almost never do we write a song and it stays in that initial state. We do a lot of adding parts, changing parts of each song. It takes us a while to piece everything together. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that we didn't use this time around will make an appearance at a later date.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
What do you tend to write about lyrically, Matt? I assume you're the lyric writer since you're the singer. Or do other people have a handle at that?
In the past, yeah, I would write everything and do the vocal placements. But more recently, I'll like write a couple lines and then be like, "Who's got something to add? Does anyone have anything to add?" And that's I like that because it's really helped things take shape. It's helped expedite some completion of songs. And then I think, like, especially if I'm asking these guys to do backup vocals, that like if some of their thoughts and feelings are in there, it's like easier to convey, right? So, so we're working on that, and it's yeah, like it's varied. I mean, it's always like we're a little bit older. We family, kids, lived a lot of life, so that works its way into a lot of the themes. How about you?
Yeah, similar. I write the lyrics too. We typically start in the writing process when everybody's writing the song from the scratch. Usually starts from the guitar player Tom coming up with a riff and us all figuring it out. And I like to be there in the like initial stages, and I'll just, with lack of a better term, I'll just scat on top of it until I get patterns. And then when I have a pattern ready, I record on my phone all the time too, and I listen back to everything. And I'm just evolving what I did the last time, and then I'll put words to it. I've got like notebooks of like possible themes for songs that I could use as a springboard that might fit that scat pattern for that. For this band, I wanted everything to be in the beginning kind of like motivational and positive and uplifting. We've got a lot that's differed from that, but I try to keep it along those lines of something that will get people up and ready to do something, act. A lot of political type shit. Family stuff always interweaves into it. The Probes band is all for the dark, real life shit, like traumatic things that had happened to me in my past or that are happening to me now. But it's all personal for, yeah, 100%. And then, yeah, like you, I'll take ideas from everybody else. Our new drummer, Jackson, is really good about feedback. And because I've never had anybody, tell me, oh, I don't like what you're doing here. Try this. Like,
Yeah.
people don't want, or they think they'll bruise my singer ego or something, but I really don't care. And that stuff has been super invited. I'm totally happy to hear all that kind of stuff, and he's helped a lot. And yeah, backup vocals, I'll have ideas, but then Tom will put his spin on what he does, and then it evolves. Just constant evolution.
Yeah. I had a question kind of back to the EP stuff again real quick, if y'all don't mind.
No, of course.
It's funny because we've been dropping these around. You actually said something that made me think of this. You're talking about the full length you all might release at some point. It's kind of an interesting pattern. I'm in several bands, and we were friends with a lot of bands in Denver and things, and it feels like there's this kind of pattern of just releasing EPs. Like before, like a long time ago, it was like you released albums. You had to release albums, and it's just interesting to me because it feels like everybody's doing EPs right now. And I think we have this conversation at Chew Thru. I've had in other bands as well. Like, at what point do you say, okay, it's time for a full length? We've got so many songs. We probably should have just released this as a full length anyway, but we didn't. I mean, I'm just curious what you all think about releasing EPs as opposed to full lengths.
That's a tricky one. I think for us, the EPs are a matter of we have songs that are complete that we feel good about, and so we record them before we change our mind, because that will probably happen if we don't put them out some sort of format.
Yeah.
And then after doing this off and on for 20 years or so with Montana, it seems like the right time to actually do a full length. So, that's how it worked out for us.
Yeah.
Do you include the EP songs on the full length, or do you just all new?
No, it's going to be all fresh material.
It's going to be all new stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Also, I think right now, like, attention spans are like, you can release music so quickly. Years and years ago, it was tape, it was CD. Now, like, streaming, it's like, to stay in that cycle, it just seems like EPs are faster. Also for us, sometimes it's like we want to record, we want to go in like the last two times at Radar, but to do a full length, we're talking triple the time in the studio.
Yeah.
So, the financial obligation there, it's like, let's just keep putting this out, keep putting EPs out. But I'm excited for full length, which we're looking like next year, early next year, still be determined. But I'm excited because like now we're like, how can we tie these songs together with more than just 3 or 4 songs? Like, how can we pull them together and like the thoughts and the concepts? So that part's exciting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sounds like you're doing a lot of writing.
Yeah, some of the stuff that might make it to the full length is actual stuff that we recorded like roughly 20 years ago but never released. Just like rough band room recordings that our bass player pulled out of the vault out of nowhere and surprised us. I mean, I'm going to change them a little bit, but some of this stuff has been with us for a while.
It was literally a riff bank. He has a bank of riffs.
That's like Tom.
That's Tom. Totally.
Tom and Chew Thru. Yeah, he's just got
And luckily for
riffs.
you guys haven't changed styles since then, so you can dive back into that crate.
Yeah.
We stayed consistent with our failures.
Yeah.
At least you know.
No evolution with us.
I mean,
Little to no evolution.
your failures are our success. We get to listen to it all with fresh ears. It's great. We love it. We really do like. I'm gonna ask one more thing. This is something, and I'm not saying this is the end of it or anything. It was just one other thing I wanted to do because I've listened to a few of the 6 disc changer podcasts, and one of the features that I've heard them do that I really like is, what are you into right now? So I'd like to hear what everybody's kind of like listening to right now. If it's a song, a band, whatever. What are you into?
I don't listen too much when I'm in writing mode. So since I've been concentrating on the upcoming full length, I haven't really been listening to much of anything. But I am definitely guilty of listening to way too much YouTube. Way too much.
You said U2, not YouTube, right?
YouTube, yeah.
Okay.
The band YouTube.
Gotcha.
Not the website YouTube.
Gotcha.
It's funny because how they infiltrated the iPhones like 10 years ago and inserted the album.
Yeah.
That shit popped up on my wife's new phone in the shower the other day. She's got like a Bluetooth shower speaker. It's still cursing. That's the only reason she hates U2 is because they did that. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like them as much as I do. It's ridiculous. It's probably a problem in my personal life.
Don't be ashamed.
But I can stop at any time, I swear.
My dad
Right.
gave me a stack of like 100 records, and one of their first, when they were like kind of raw, more punk edge, is in the stack, and it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I've got a soft spot.
So I've been listening to you guys, been listening to Suicide Cages. My youngest, we were in the car and The Cure came on and she became like enamored with them.
Rad.
That's
so that
awesome.
got me to revisit like early Cure, which the songwriting is just so crazy. I mean, of course, they're huge.
Good.
Like I'd been away from them for 25 years, So to like revisit it now, yeah.
That's amazing.
Men at work, consistent.
Men at work.
House.
I really like Men at Work. Totally.
Nice.
What about you guys?
Go first, Lamb.
Like when we go out to dinner on Fridays, me and Matt and our wives, and then we usually go like play pool or something, and Matt takes control of the jukebox with his phone. And we always are listening to Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. It's like if my default mode these days is Soundgarden for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I live on Cornell Avenue. I don't know. something about that. And those two bands, I guess my number one default album though is Nirvana Bleach. That shit is just always like if I don't know what I want to listen to or what I feel like, it's that. Um, Mornings, Sundays when it's nice here in the summer, I tend to go to the skate park before we go to brunch or anything, and I usually play High on Fire or like Ride the Lightning or one of those first
Yeah.
Metallica albums. But those are like things that are like in my genetic code and Fugazi. But like I guess new shit. If I had to say like new shit, like A Meal in the Sniffers, Die Spits. What's this other? Teen Mortgage. That shit's pretty good.
Oh
Like the
yeah.
younger punk bands. Gel, R.I.P. They're
Oh,
pretty good.
they,
Um, and shit, The Cure. That's always on rotation for sure. Definitely. I mean, everything that I'm saying will be a complete different list tomorrow.
Well, that's why it's what you're listening to now. You know, I mean, that's always going to change for sure. I mean, because
Yeah.
my list would include a lot of those things as well for like going back. But like right now, what I'm into a lot is a band out of the UK called Ren. They're WREN. They're fucking amazing. If you're familiar with Kowloon Walled City, Scott Evans records everybody, and it's one of his engineering projects. And you know, a lot of them like I listen to like Museum of Light a lot too. It's another one that he did. Um, they're a little bit more in, you know, in rotation. You hear them more. I had not heard Ren before and kind of stumbled upon them, and they're amazing. And then something that it's just one song. I can't stop listening to it though because they won't release an actual like EP or full length. Is Pallid Veil, which is kind of a super group that was created during 2020. And like in 2020, they were doing like those at home like jam sessions, and it's like four guys from different bands get together and play like a cover or play a song or whatever, and they're actually doing some stuff now, and it's I'm really waiting for that album to come out. I can't wait for that to happen. um but yeah, I definitely recommend Ren if you haven't heard him.
check it out.
So much. So
So
much.
much.
Do
Yeah.
you guys have any hip hop inspiration? Old rap? You into the 90s rap?
Okay, so we were on a comp, like a comp to what was it for a Philadelphia animal shelter
Oh,
or
that's
animal
right.
sanctuary. We were on a comp, and it was a super eclectic mix. And what made us so happy, Chuck D guest stars on one of the songs on the comp. So that's like
Nice.
back to the 6 degrees of separation,
Yeah.
much closer to Public Enemy because like as a kid,
Hell yeah.
it was,
Right on.
yeah. So what about
Very
you?
cool.
Awesome.
I grew up in a very, for lack of a better term, urban area. So I you know, being born in '75, by the time I started listening to stuff, it was you know, Public Enemy, Third Base, NWA, uh, KRS-One.
Nice.
You know, and then later on, I got more into like Kool Keith and you know, R.A. the Rugged Man.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, I probably listen to more hip hop than the rest of the guys in the band, I would say. Um, but yeah, I can't think of anything current that I, you know, as far as hip hop goes. But
Yeah.
more of the old school stuff for me.
If
Totally.
you back to what we're listening to now, started to jump in, and also talking about rap. If you want something new to check out this artist named Boldy James. That's one I listen to a lot, and that's another one of those examples of somebody who just constantly releases shit. Like I swear to God, he's got like a new single on Spotify every week, but he also just released a new album, and it's amazing stuff. He does some really cool shit. I would definitely recommend that guy too.
Yeah. I guess in that new Aesop Rock single, anticipating his
Yes.
album. Super fan of his. Yeah, we're all of us in Chew Thru definitely like our hip hops, Czarface, stuff like that. mostly like probably like you guys, the East Coast Mob Deep Wu-Tang kind of shit. But yeah, like I used to be in rap groups before I was in bands, talking to these guys before you guys popped on. That's how I met Matt. He was in a band and they needed a singer and they asked me to sing, and I wasn't a singer, I was a rapper, so it came out rap rock. But luckily I've become a well, maybe I become a singer.
Yeah.
But I still do that rap shit on the side for myself, if anything else. But it's a huge part of what we all listen to for sure. And it was like the main connection when I first met Tom, our guitarist. He was into all the same good hip hop, intellectual, underground, none of the bullshit, none of this mumble new bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it.
I don't really trust people that don't listen to some hip hop. It's weird. Like, no, I don't really mess with that stuff. Which leads me to this other question that's completely unrelated. Do you guys have any like skateboarding or BMX roots within your band?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean that's how I found, as most people, that's how I found like punk and hardcore. It's from like Thrasher, and then later on Trans World. But like, Thrasher would have like, like little band blurbs. And then Jay, like where Connecticut, near where Jay grew up, we were fortunate that we had this college radio station, 88.7, and like that was the other place that exposed, I think, all of us in the band to like punk and hardcore. Saturday, it was like they would just have show after show after show. We get exposed to bands. So yeah, and Michael, our drummer, he still skateboards. Like he's like before shows, he'll still pull his board out occasionally.
Nice.
So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like some of our first shows, our bands when we were kids, were like skate park shows. Some of the biggest shows in Connecticut at the time.
Yeah.
At the skate park, like you literally, the drum set would be in the middle of the mega ramp, and kids
Yeah.
going nuts.
That was totally our first show of not our first show, but me and Matt's first band 25 years ago, our show at the opening of the Denver skate park.
Yeah, that was a strange show. It was just really not well organized at all, as you might imagine, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, that's pretty much goes to say, like, if it's at a skate park, it's not going to be
right.
really well.
I wish it was actually a little less produced. Like they brought in one of those giant mobile rolling stages and sound and reinforcement and all this stuff. I was like, man, I'd rather just set up on the concrete here with a generator. But no,
it had like a drum set like nailed to it. It
bolted to the
stage, like a pile of shit.
Yeah, dude, it was terrible.
That's crazy. I thought you meant because, like, you guys have probably played them, the VFW shows, which we appreciate. We love being on the floor. But you show up and the guy's like, does anybody have a PA? We're like, what?
Yeah. There's been cases where I had to like drive to the jam space and grab the PA because the venue's PA blew or some shit like in the middle of our set.
Crazy.
But I always like to hear the skateboarding connection because it seems to be like a vein within most bands in one way or the other. It definitely is with us and with all my bands in the past. So yeah, that's rad. And so yeah, same thing. We were talking about this at practice the other night. Like it was the ads in Thrasher, you'd see the band name and damn, that looks tough. And then you see a band name like, what was it? Agnostic Front. And you don't know what it means because you're 12 and you're like, damn, that sounds brutal. What does that mean? But then like we're thinking about it now, like agnostic basically means I don't know anything. I don't know anything, Front. Not tough at all.
Looks like the boys are back. Hey guys, sorry we lost you.
We're back. Sorry, we just suck. We suck at this. We can write mediocre riffs. You want us to do something with technology?
All good, man.
Get a different band. So
all good. We were wrapping up anyway, I think, right, guys?
Oh, great. So one quick question, if we can, where'd the name come from?
Chew Thru. So I had these dogs that passed away like 4 years ago. And one of them on her bed, I come downstairs and she's eating my fucking Timberland boot. She's chewing through it. So I was in the midst of painting my basement, so I tagged up the walls. I've got a lot of graffiti influence, but I wrote Chew Thru on the wall, and we're coming up with band names, and I look at the wall and I throw that one out and it's stuck. So yeah, Chew Thru.
Yeah, we were talking. We love it. It's like, yeah, it's just different enough. The words are like common enough where it's not crazy. It's perfect. Really,
and
really
I mean,
good.
It could mean whatever you want, like chewing through the walls of oppression, or it's 4 letters that you could get knuckle tats with if you want.
Exactly.
You know, everybody should be writing band names that fit on knuckles. I think that's a good one. Yeah.
Dude, Suicide Cages.
We'll need more fingers.
Yeah, we have to like put our
Yeah,
together
like
for
the
it.
toy machine.
Well, with you guys, it's TSOM. Rule.
Rips.
Right? Rips.
Yeah, rips.
Yeah, rips.
Rips.
Rips with a Z.
Yeah.
What is he?
This is awesome. Yeah, thank you.
I did want to ask you, but I had the same question for you. Because Sons of Montana. I was like, Sons of Montana from Connecticut. What? How'd that happen?
Okay, so I talked about us playing in bands together when we were younger.
Yeah.
Michael, our drummer, his father was hyper supportive, incredibly supportive of us. Like, we practiced 2 nights a week for 2-3 hours, Tuesday and Thursday nights. We would keep the family up late. They all had jobs and family and everything. I mean, we were in their basement making a lot of noise, and they were so supportive. Never hassled us. Let us have our first show in the basement. When we started playing shows out of state and we couldn't get vans, his dad would take all the seats out of their minivan and let us take the minivan for the weekend. I mean, just an incredible guy. And Michael had found out after from some of his dad's friends that his nickname was Montana. And when we went and started this band, I was like, we were like playing around with names. I was like, what about, the Sons of Montana as sort of a nice tribute to his dad. We were just like, yeah, let's do it. It's different enough. Like you said, we're from Connecticut. We have Montana. And again, the name is old like we are. So at the time, it was just different enough that it stuck. So
right on.
I like it.
Story.
Yeah, I like it now even more.
Hell yeah.
I also wanted to say, because I was listening in, you guys, you're not the only closet U2 fan. Because I'm, not their new stuff, but dude, like they had a run. I think it was like Unforgettable Fire, up through and including Achtung Baby. So that would have been like, I don't know, like 87 to 91 or something.
Yep.
That when I was a kid, that was actually some of the music that made me want to play guitar, and like some of the stuff the Edge was doing with like delays and stuff is still an influence on me. Like it was so rad, like the sounds he was able to make. So I totally still hold space for that band.
Nice.
So Mike, you just reminded me, I did have a question. One of the only prepared in advance that I have to know is like exactly that. What band got all you guys into playing? Like what was was there one band that you're like, I got to do this? Oh
yeah, that's easy for me, and I think Lamb already touched on it. For me, it was Metallica. Easy. Like I started listening to them around the Ride the Lightning time frame, Master Puppets, and that was it for me. I knew I wanted to do it.
I don't know if there's one band that got me playing. But my answer to this is always, there was one band when I was a kid that made me feel like I could, that like gave me permission. Because like similar to you guys, like I had like grown up skating, and I was like, I'd been following music since I was a kid, and like I remember seeing all these bands in the back of like Thrasher and stuff, and then people getting me into metal and hardcore, and like all the stuff. But the band that made me feel like I could do it, like it would be okay, was Living Color.
Yeah.
I love those guys. Those guys
And
That makes
yeah,
sense.
just not to make it, not to get too far into the political, but it was seeing a group of another black dudes playing music that I wanted to play and sounding like all these other bands, and like they were the only people who looked like me. So I was like, oh, sick, I can do this. And so
And we're a
that
bottle of
that meant a lot.
And Vernon Reed's a badass, man.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
That guy knows how to play.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Me and Mike have had this conversation that was one of the first tapes I got on that Columbia House by
Nice.
6 whatever for $20.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I guess
That's
for
awesome.
me, it's like I said, it all started with like rap, but it was like your perspective, Mike, is like hearing things where you're like, oh, I could do this. Not necessarily because it sucked, but because it made you think that maybe I could do something like this. And it was always like those like Beastie Boys, and how they kind of merged between punk and hip hop. And then like what made me transition to actual bands was like seeing like At the Drive-In at that time. I was like, oh, I want to do something like that too. And like Rage Against the Machine, obviously. But I mean, I always listen to all the bands that you guys are all mentioning still at the same time. But I didn't necessarily want to be in a rock band at those times. It was At the Drive-In that made me think, I could do this.
Yeah.
But you guys,
For me, the initial band would have been Motley Crue. But it comes from, I was a kid in the 80s. MTV was huge. You see the Motley Crue videos, and that kind of warped my impression that if I get a guitar and learn how to play, I'm hitting stadiums in a couple weeks.
Of course.
right?
I had no idea of the all the work that went into it until I went into like high school. And what showed me that I could actually do it was all my friends that were in other local bands doing it. Some of those guys were a couple years older than me, but we mentioned Mind War earlier. Going and seeing Mind War in a small club with about 50 to 100 people opened the door to the possibility of me being on a stage playing for 3 to 4 people. But it was for me a large part of like showing me that I could actually do it was the local scene in my area.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
that was a big one for
Could
sure.
agree.
Going.
Matt,
Nice, dude. Well,
Matt,
thank you guys all for
did we ever hear
making.
from him?
Oh, what?
Oh yeah, we want to see what Matt.
Did we hear what he said?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
what was your entry
Your
point?
turn.
Oh, well, okay. So turning point for me, the first like real show I went to, Shudder to Think and Jawbox.
Oh,
And
yes.
and
Hell yeah.
that to me was just, I was like, like Marshall's, it was in like a basement, it was like hot and loud, and I was just like, this is it, this is everything right here.
Yes.
Definitely.
So yeah, and then like Jay said, our scene, especially in the early 90s in Connecticut, it was just so like, there was so many different opportunities. And so booking shows, and then after booking shows and meeting people, I was like, oh, I could do this too. Yeah. And then us two dorks found each other.
That always
That's
helps too.
awesome.
Like-mindedness.
Does help.
Yeah.
I saw
help.
Jawbox in the early 90s too, in like a cafe in Colorado Springs. It was awesome.
Dude, I love
Yeah.
those guys.
That's a great story. Hell yeah. Right on. Well, cool. I got a drop, gentlemen.
All right. I think that was a pretty awesome conversation. I think we can wrap it up. This was the first band to band conversation we've done on this podcast, but I think it went really well. It was a lot of fun to listen to you guys get to know each other and let us all kind of listen in, a little fly on the wall. That was good.
Totally, and so good to virtually meet you guys. Hopefully
Hell
one
yeah.
of these days we can meet in person.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Play.
let's do some shows. Hey, let's do a split. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do a
All right.
There you
split.
go.
Let's do it.
I'm always game for that action.
All
Yeah,
right,
that
no,
was
you,
awesome.
After they get
Yeah.
through the record, of course. They've got
Yes,
a couple
yes.
things in the books.
The boss man's on the line, so
yes, he is.
I love these ideas, but let's not rush anything here.
How big's your roster now? Who are you talking about?
I think we are. We're 10 or 11 bands now, boys.
Jesus.
So
All
welcome
right.
to the team. I know
Yeah.
this is we
Yeah.
just made the announcement yesterday for the Sons of Montana. So
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah!
this is a fun
congrats.
weekend. We're riding high. Lots of
yeah,
excitement.
absolutely, guys. This was wonderful. It was excellent talking to everyone. Thanks for including us in this. We really appreciate it. This is a lot of fun.
Super good to meet
Sounds
you guys virtually, officially, all that stuff. So thank you
Thank
again
you.
for all your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
See y'all.
Bye-bye.